Here we are, early March. The world has changed yet again, from a world that changes about every 10 or 12 minutes. And that's challenging. So the John and John show have certainly decided to invite guests that can help us understand how these extraordinary circumstances affect their business, affect their community, affect trade diversification around the world. We're very lucky today to have somebody called Wayne Morden coming from a bit of a different angle. We often think trade is only resources and food and metal and vehicles. Well, it's not. It's also tourism. It impacts people coming to this country in a huge way. And that is a huge economic driver, and we don't
Yes.
pay enough attention to it. And Wayne is one of the preeminent owners of a golf destination a company. And we would like to hear how this changing world every half an hour or so is impacting your company. But first of all, Wayne, good morning, and let's hear about what you do.
Well, good morning, John and John, and thank you very much for having me on your program. It was great to connect with John Trelevin on the golf course, and that's fitting for as a golf tour operator in Canada. Athlone Golf and Sports, our company, we're a golf tour operator based in Victoria, British Columbia. We've been around about 12 years in the business. Our perspective, which is a bit different than others, is we handle outbound golf traffic, so we would position that as golf trips, people going abroad, and that would be a lot of links golf in the UK and Ireland. We also are seeing growth in Portugal, Spain, and other destinations. But the other thing I've been very proud of, and that's a good kind of connection with what we're speaking, is I'm a very proud Canadian to promote our golf from coast to coast. So that's the inbound component to our business. And we focus on custom golf trips. So I'm a salesperson from many different industries, dating way back to when I finished Queen's University. And I'm a big questioner, very curious. And so I don't believe in packaged golf trips. I believe in talking to the clients and doing custom trips, which can be very different. Some people can assume you go to Scotland to play links golf and drink whiskey. Well, what happens if you don't want to do links golf? You might want to play parkland. So then I listen to them. Uh,
How
Now,
novel these days.
how novel these
Listening to the
days.
client, oh my gosh.
Yes, and actually asking questions and rather than doing data dumps, John.
All right.
Exactly.
So I think one of the things that, what John and I were speaking is about Canada is from a golf perspective. Let's talk a bit about Canada and maybe Destination Canada. Destination Canada has really promoted our winter sports very well. If I talk to global people and they know about skiing in Canada, of course they know about Revelstoke on vertical skiing or to Whistler for great skiing. But if I
Yeah.
said, and I have gone to events, I go, what about Canada's golf? There's this question mark. They don't understand that we actually have it. And why is that? I don't think think we're too humble in really bragging about how great our golf is. And I'm talking from coast to coast,
Yeah.
where the Americans have these great brand names like Keo Island or Pinehurst or Pebble Beach. Canada has finally got a beachhead for our brand, and that's Cabot, Cape Breton, out interestingly in Inverness, Nova Scotia. And if anyone knows that Nova Scotia is New Scotland, and Inverness is the capital of the Scottish Highlands. So we can leverage that. Now the world is beating the door there, and a lot of Americans go there. And we're also starting to sell that as a golf destination to international folks, as well as Americans and Canadians. So I think there's going to be, if we're talking about geopolitics and things that are happening, and John mentioned it briefly, is the American market. As we know, as Canadians and golfers, we used to get calls or golf destinations of those 4 to 5 day golf trips. And they were to Palm Springs, to
Myrtle Beach.
Arizona, to Florida. I mean, it was common. I mean, that's what you did. You had places in Naples, and you would go, and it would be a short trip. Well, that's been disrupted.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not getting many phone calls about America,
Mhm.
which opens up opportunities about where do you go. So there's places like Jamaica or Dominican Republic. But here's the other thing is, depending on the time, and John Treleaven and I golf all year round in Victoria.
It's true.
Not many people know that. Like there's an example that you can actually golf all year round, which for a guy from Woodstock, Ontario, in the snow belt, that is not done, and yet you can golf.
This
Now,
is a great conversation, Wayne, because I've been involved for the better part of 20 years in promoting wellness and sport development in Lower Vancouver Island. I've been created committees of chambers of commerce that have helped develop the economic development pieces of that. I was a economic development officer with a mayor from Langford, which built its literally its entire sort of ecosystem around recreation facilities and providing recreation activities for families. And it was part of how you would build a city, and continue to be involved with a very huge event that happened sort of back in our time, that being the Commonwealth Games in Victoria. And
yes,
Commonwealth Games legacy was created that continues to provide funding for athletes. And of course, our entire Canadian identity is built around ice hockey, etc. And I do not, and yet, we do not hear enough about golfing, because those golf courses are full.
yes,
They're full of people
yep,
achieving all of these things that I've been working hard my life, and many others have, to promote wellness. It's a fantastic reason to and it to help us, shall I say, older folks, as well as younger folks, keep fit, keep alive,
yes,
and and you're right. I mean, the imagery of Canada across the world generally isn't of an area where you can play golf all year round.
correct.
So we're here to promote that in a big way. John Treleaven, you're a golfer. What do you think about all this stuff that I'm saying?
Well, no, you're dead on. What I would say is reflecting some of what Wayne has been discussing is common in the larger themes that are being discussed sometimes for the first time. I mean, the elimination of interprovincial trade barriers as a theme is entirely consistent with, we should be prouder of our domestic golf infrastructure and get it out to the world.
Yes,
The challenges that the United States, that businesses in the United States are going to face as a result of political actions by a very determined government will reach, and have your example is exactly right on, has reached the world of golf travel.
yes,
And what does that mean? Well, one of the major trade negotiators of the FTA and NAFTA recently wrote an article in the Globe and Mail projecting the future of the international trade, and that it would gradually form a donut shape around the United States from a situation in which all roads led to the United States and out again. And what you've described in terms of the impact on your business, it's exactly the donut. And I think the points that you're making to your clients is that there's an awful lot of wonderful places to golf that aren't called Pebble Beach.
correct. And the other thing is that we're seeing growth in requests from international people to Canada. And one of the things I say is that we have a very strong brand, a very
Yes.
positive brand that doesn't include golf, but we've all heard of Fairmont Banff Springs. And that hotel is one of the iconic ones in the world. And if I say, do you know that it has a fabulous golf course, a Stanley Thompson Jewel, and you can play Seward Creek and all around there, and you could build. No, I didn't. Well, you know about Canada, you know about the positive image it has, and there's also certain countries out there that love Canada, and the German population is one. They love the space, they love the wilderness. We've also actually include a Rocky Mountaineer train so people can actually have a golf trip
Oh,
in
wow.
Banff.
That's great.
Yes, and what they do is they go, so the combination there, John and John, is that they play this golf trip, and I think the Rocky Mountain golf to me is Canada punching you right in the head with this amazing golf, and people across the globe say, oh my gosh, this stacks up with the globe and anywhere in the world, and we don't talk about that. And the other thing is, if you talk about the Rocky Mountaineer, think about the combination. You just experience Alberta, and then you hop in this beautiful train and you see bears and wilderness from it, and you arrive in Vancouver. Well, who hates Vancouver? I mean, Vancouver's going to get pressed with FIFA and people coming to Canada. But if you you could play golf around Vancouver and go to Whistler and play 4 amazing golf courses.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes a little bit about advocacy around this, okay?
Sure.
So our destination Canadian organizations promoting your businesses like yours, the golf industry, are they doing that enough? I mean, I just explained to you about 25 years of advocacy for sport and wellness. Golf was never one of those elements.
No.
It's always, all these other sports. So who do we need to say on this vodcast needs to sort of amp their game a little bit to promote this industry?
Well, if you tackle that spot and one of the weaknesses I have seen is that our market has tended to be either within Canada or the United States. That was the world. And the world is beyond that. And I can give you some examples. So I just received an email to come to Egypt on a golf familiarization trip. And I have Tunisia, and we have Slovenia, and I can go on, and they spend more money than Canada does. So, and to go tie with the United States, and I don't get into political, but the reality is Canadians are not going to the US much for golf trips. And if Destination
or anything,
Canada,
and won't be for a while, Wayne.
Correct. And we're talking years the damage is done. And the
Yeah.
other thing is, if you have been courting the golfers to do that, how much market share is going to be lost because we're not marketing to the right people? We should be marketing to the Europeans.
Yes.
We have more of an affiliation, and we can talk about Mark Carney. Is why do you think he's spending time with Germans about building submarines or talking, or right? It is our natural connection might be the way it was 150 years ago back to the UK and Europe rather than the US. And as
Absolutely.
you know, John, right?
Yeah.
Like we used to be tied to them. We were colonials. We had, and then we switched. Well, guess what? The Americans are more or less pushing us into saying, we're making it easy for you to go back to what it was.
Yes, and that was his name was Andrei Silzenko, major trade negotiator within the bureaucracy and global affairs. And his article, the Americans actually are constructing the donut for us.
Yes.
For everything you've said, we've got a strong brand. There's more here than people realize. There's more here than the world realizes. And frankly, who's going to want to cross into the United States border for any reason except, of course, I mean, there'll still be movement, but we're talking discretionary travel. Your business is completely discretionary. And I think in that slice, give me something that's better than I can get in the States.
Yeah.
Well, here's other things that how about the currency exchange, which is a big model for us because we do outbound to Scotland, like the pound is at 1.92, the euro is at 1.65. It's starting to get expensive over there. But the other thing is you can play it the opposite, is look at the benefits of coming to Canada with our lower dollar and the value you can get. Sure. And so you can come to Canada for 20 or 30% less. And also, and John, you and I talked about is COVID changed the golf scene tremendously in many ways. It actually rejuvenated golf. People started to say, hey, this is a pretty cool game, which Tiger Woods was able to do. But it was decreasing. Golf courses were closing.
Wow.
People didn't think it was good. And then all of a sudden, COVID came, and it was one of the few sports that we could enjoy. And as the other John said, is about the exercise, but also was the comradeship that you had. You could be out with your friends. And while people were cooped up, if you weren't golfing, what else were you doing? And golf gave you that escape.
Wayne, this is amazing. We're going to make a lot of noise about this with this conversation. And I'd like to say 6 months from now, because who knows what the world is looking like.
Correct.
Buy Canada, trade Canada, come to Canada, live in Canada. Okay, that's all we're about here, John and I, or the John squared we call ourselves. Wayne, as we leave the conversation, because of course our digital audience has about a 2-minute, maybe less attention span.
Sure. Understood.
Can you talk about the name of your company, how we can connect with you, where you're located, if people missed it at the front end?
Sure. So my name's Wayne Morden with Athlone Golf and Sports. It's spelled Athlone Golf and Sports. I'm based in Oak Bay in Victoria, and we've been in business for 12 years. We do customized golf travel. So even if it was New Zealand or Argentina, Uruguay, if you can believe it, or links golf in the UK and Ireland, and just let me know about what it is. But the other thing I'd like to say is about Canada. We sell to Cabot, we sell to Quebec, I sell Ontario, where I used to live in the Toronto area. I sell up that because people are saying, wow, did you know that there's golf in Ontario? Yeah, there's spectacular golf in Ontario, and I live there. And we sell into the West. So what we're seeing is people looking at Canada differently now as a patriot, to say I'm proud to support Canada, and also starting to appreciate how beautiful our country is and not to take it for granted.
Great, Wayne. Absolutely. And good luck with transitioning through this period. And we look forward to coming back to you, as John said, perhaps in 6 months, and just see how it's going.
Sure. Thanks a lot, John. And I'll just say, if you need to reach me, my phone number is 250-864-4051, and it's athlongolftours.com on the web.
Terrific. Well, keep your head down and swing through the ball, okay?
All right, John. We'll see you out at Cordova Bay. Thanks a lot, gentlemen.